Folks, during the Warring States period, King Wei of Qi was extremely fond of holding feasts and reveling. Once, when he was in high spirits from drinking, he almost got himself into a great disaster, and it was from this incident that the idiom "Le Ji Sheng Bei extreme joy begets sorrow" has been passed down through the ages. All the ministers in the court were reveling with the king, except Chun Yu Kun, a counselor, who frowned. As he watched the king down cup after cup, he couldn't help worrying. Going too far with joy would surely lead to trouble. King Qi's face was flushed from drinking. He didn't even care that wine had spilled on his dragon robe. He took a silk handkerchief and danced along, so carried away by the revelry that he was completely oblivious to the danger approaching. Chun Yu Kun hurried forward and asked, "When should we stop drinking?" The king, drunk and muddled, replied, "Naturally, when we're having the time of our lives." This answer made Chun Yu Kun even more anxious. Chun Yu Kun quickly advised, "Drinking too much clouds one's judgment, and excessive joy easily brings misfortune." But the king was in the middle of his revelry. He brushed Chun Yu Kun off sharply and refused to listen to any advice. The king wasn't satisfied with just drinking. He insisted on dragging his guards to go night hunting. The guards said it was dangerous to go out late at night, but he flew into a rage, shouting, "How dare you disobey me?" and insisted on rushing into the danger. Trouble struck as soon as they entered the hunting ground. A huge wild boar suddenly charged out, throwing the king off his horse. He fell to the ground, and the effects of the alcohol faded up mostly in an instant. He was so frightened that his legs went weak. Luckily, Chun Yu Kun had made preparations in advance and arrived promptly with soldiers. Otherwise, King Qi would have been in real danger. At that moment, covered in mud, he had none of the arrogance he'd shown during the revelry. The next day, when King Qi sobered up, he was filled with regret. Chun Yu Kun took the opportunity to tell him, "This is what Le Ji Sheng Bei means. When joy becomes excessive, disaster is likely to follow." King Qi immediately summoned his ministers to reflect on the incident, saying he would henceforth moderate his pleasures and focus on governing the state. All the ministers agreed that the saying "Le Ji Sheng Bei" made perfect sense. Even the royal chefs talked about the incident, saying "Le Ji Sheng Bei" was so true you couldn't overdo it even when cooking, let alone when governing a state or indulging in pleasures. Storytellers on the streets also turned the incident into a tale. Whenever they talked about "Le Ji Sheng Bei," the tea house patrons would slap their thighs in agreement, and the phrase soon spread throughout the capital. Teachers in private schools quickly taught the phrase to their students, saying, "Whether you're playing or working, you must not go to extremes, otherwise you'll easily fall prey to Le Ji Sheng Bei." Later, King Qi truly corrected his bad habit. He no longer indulged in revelry and focused on governing the state. He took his own experience to heart, engraving the lesson of Le Ji Sheng Bei in his mind. Remember this. Le Ji Sheng Bei reminds us that no matter how joyful something is, we must not go to extremes. Only by knowing how to moderate ourselves can we avoid unnecessary trouble.